Thanks, John. I'd just like to clarify before going on, the format will basically be talking and answering some questions up here. There'll be time for Q&A afterwards. I think there'll be a mic to the side. So if you could hold your questions to the end, that'd be great. So go ahead, Todd.
I'm Todd Copeland. I work at Patagonia, and I have a interesting job there where I do environmental assessment of all of our raw materials. So a lot of cotton, polyester, also nylon, wool, all kinds of things, dyes, finishes, down insulation, you name it. I've had to look at it and decide, is this the material we should be using? Can we make it better? How can we influence the industry to move forward with this? So I'm really fortunate. I enjoy my job. I get to do a lot of research. My background is in polymer and textile chemistry, and I worked in automotive for a while, designing materials for the interior of cars. And that was great, but the interior of a car is not the most important part of the car, so I was a little limited on what I could do. So I was happy to go and go to the outdoor industry, which is kind of my passion. Now I do a lot of really forward environmental work as far as not just meeting regulations, not just meeting restricted substance lists, but we're like trying to make something that's beyond what the industry is doing right now, and then try to push the industry to go there, so it's actually a lot of fun. And I'm also working on our recycling program, which is called Common Threads. We set it up in 2005, where we can take back the clothes after they're worn out and then try to recycle them back into, best case, back into the same clothes again. And we were successful with our capilene polyester base layer. We had a partnership with our fabric mill to do that in 2005, and then we tried to expand it, and our goal is by 2010 to have all of our products be 100% recyclable through this program. And I realize it's coming up pretty quick, so I got a quick timeline to work on, but it keeps me busy. Yeah.
Great, thanks, Todd. Parvez?
Hi, okay, well. I started this company about 3 years ago out of Molly Lavick's class in business school, so that's how I'm here today. But the idea was to make hip art accessible, sort of like how Gap did with fashion, Calvin Klein did with fashion. So we kind of, reached out to the clientele that would value style and quality and price point. And so we've reached out, and we've sold to a lot of bigger companies like Z Gallery and Crate and Barrel, and a lot of interior designers, and basically the whole design interior community. Obviously, what's happened in the last 3 years is there's been a big push for green. So I figured this was an area that I should get into. Obviously, it's high growth, and we started working with printers that use eco-friendly inks. So that was kind of the first thing that we started doing, and they were really great. And so I thought, okay, let's take it to the next level, and let's find materials that are eco-friendly, and we'll use eco-friendly inks and eco-friendly materials. And so actually, this was the first place that I came into, this showroom. And I saw John's product, the Curie board. I was like, wow, that's really cool, and the bamboo's great. So we bought some, and we started doing sampling, and we sold to a lot of boutique stores that were interested in the eco-friendly, and a lot of interior designers. And now we're just getting it to the level where we can reach sort of bigger markets. So we're trying to develop the line now with Crate and Barrel. And actually, one of the major reasons I was excited to come here today was to see John, because we're discussing about how to take this product and get it at a price point where we can actually reach people. One of the challenges that I've had with eco-friendly is that the price point isn't what I can do with other materials. And so, of course, I can fill that sort of high fashion client who, be willing to pay $600 for a pair of shoes, yet they're going to spend a lot more on an eco-friendly art piece. How do I do that and make it to the Gap level, to the Calvin Klein level? So that's really where a major focus of my company is going, and we've been getting a lot of great feedback. So it's about sort of meeting the price point at this point. So that's why I'm here.
Thanks. Travis?
Hi, I'm Travis Putnam, co-founder with Navitas Capital. We're a venture capital firm that's dedicated to the clean tech sector. What makes us a little bit unique is that we're specifically focused on the built environment, and building materials would be one component of what we look to invest in. On a little bit broader basis, if you look at a LEED scorecard and the different ways to score points within that, those are the type of opportunities that we're looking to invest in. That could be anything from the building materials that go into a building, the energy management systems that help operate the building, and sort of the intersection of both green and information at the building level. And then a little bit beyond just the building, we'll look at certain opportunities within the infrastructure space, if you're looking at smart grid technologies and the like. And yeah, I'm very happy to be here. It's my foray into the green sectors is a little different than most. I came from a pretty conservative family that's in the steel business in California. And so growing up in that, I talked a lot about steel and materials at the breakfast table, and part of my DNA, and learned a lot about manufacturing steel, both here domestically and also overseas. My grandfather was one of the first to import steel from Japan, and so I learned a lot about how you get heavy materials from one place to another. And now looking back on the things I learned, I started asking a whole lot of different questions. Embodied energy in steel, under the current LEED system and the current LEED scorecard, you get a lot of credit for steel as a recycled product, but when you start looking at the embodied energy of it, there's a separate issue there. So, fast forwarding a little bit, I got a finance degree. I've got a finance background. I went to Wharton back in Philadelphia. I became an investment banker for a handful of years. And then in 2005, invested in a company called Cirrus Materials, and met some very interesting entrepreneurs there who, in a lot of ways are pioneering building materials, and green building materials in particular, having developed a variety of lines of product. They started with a quiet rock, soundproof drywall replacement, and then has sort of extended their product line into an eco-friendly replacement for drywall, and most recently energy efficient windows. And so I attribute a lot of what I've learned about the space to the management team there, and tracking their progress over 3 years. And then beyond that, I invested in a company called PowerMat. It's Israeli-based technology that has a wireless platform for transferring power. It can be embedded in building materials or in the interior building envelope to create highly efficient green workspaces in terms of managing energy transmission to devices, displays, different objects within the interior workspace or living space. And then most recently, my firm invested in a company called Integrity Block, which has a green replacement for CMU block. And they've tackled a daunting challenge by using earth construction to reach ASTM codes, achieving far less embodied energy in their CMU product, while also meeting the structural requirements for concrete block. And so it's been an interesting sort of learning curve over the last 3 years, having invested in a few companies, and then most recently launching a fund that's exclusively dedicated to investing in really highly sort of unusual, very successful entrepreneurs within the built environment.
Great. Well, to open up, I wanted to ask, Parvez started to hit on this, but ever since I started out in these hallowed halls here at Living Green, one question that seems to keep coming up is, what are the obstacles, what are the challenges you face in trying to bring these products to market to gain adoption for green materials? And I'm opening that up to anybody who wants to jump in.
Well, yeah, like I mentioned it before, price point, really. Like you'll always have a client who will be into high fashion and price point is less relevant, but when you go to a bigger audience, they're very price point sensitive, and I feel like for me as a builder, at least domestically, I haven't been able to do that. So it's about being able to get a price point where people say, saying it's eco-friendly is a selling point, and people will look at one piece against the other and say, oh, one's eco-friendly, okay, maybe I'll go with that one, and there may be a percentage that they'll pay on a premium, but I think that percentage is small, and I think that, especially in today's economy, people are much more price conscious. So it's about making an eco-friendly product that's accessible.